This is Anthony with True Diamond Heart, continuing our video series on divine healing. One of the greatest blocks to divine healing is the need to be right. The block to divinity, divine consciousness, to healing, which is the natural principle, or one of the natural principles of divinity, is healing. This is blocked by the false personality, the dishonesty that we spoke of in earlier videos. To be honest about what is, to no longer hold or be committed to holding this false idea of ourselves in place. We start to realize that we've been conditioned to believe that we need to hold this idea of ourselves in place, and this idea of ourselves is our survival. Which is why when I fight with you about something, and I need to be right and you need to be right, we're actually fighting on the level of survival. You'll see people fighting intensely about things that are so inconsequential, whether it's fuchsia or pink, whether there's 432 leaves or 700 leaves, whether chlorophyll and hemoglobin are exactly the same or very different, arguing about things that finally don't matter. What does matter? Very few things really matter enough to argue the way that people argue every day, both with themselves, with ourselves. We need to be right. We're always trying to convince ourselves that we're right, correct? And we're always trying to convince other people that we're right. You can have the person with this religious belief, and this person will sit in all internal idea of sincerity. They believe God is love. And there's a person from a different religion, and they sit and they say, God is love, in their idea of internal sincerity, what they believe about themselves and about their God. And then they meet and they try to kill each other. Or they try to kill each other over conceptions of God. Now, this is obviously serious error. This is fatal error. The condition of love can do nothing but compassion and understand. It would never fight with someone else with a different idea of love. It would simply say, love is. Accept it, or in your divine ability to choose, don't accept it. But there's nothing to fight about. When we know things from our internal being, and truly know them, we never fight about them. We can disagree and argue with peace. Argue meaning disagree with some emotional energy, but it's never personal. It can't be personal. If you tell me that I am unable to speak the English language, I will simply say, okay, what possible reason? This is a hand, you don't have two hands. Oh, well, okay. There's nothing for me to argue about or fight about. People fight about beliefs. They don't fight about what they know. If they know something, there's nothing to fight about. We fight it and cause dis-ease, disharmony, block healing when we're defending things that we don't know that we don't know. We think that our belief is knowledge, and it's not. Knowledge doesn't fight. Love doesn't fight. Truth doesn't fight. Only insecurity fights. Yes. So let us, in our movement towards healing, towards revealing healing, in our honesty that we spoke about, and in our starting to disconnect. And the way that we disconnect, just very briefly, from our false identification with personality is we just watch it. We watch it impersonally watch ourselves and start to see how hilarious we are, how quirky we are. Not with judgment. Again, it's impersonal. And as we do that, we start to reveal healing. And part of this revelation, part of this process, what will facilitate it, and it will naturally, in this opening and in this letting go of that which is false, automatically healing will flow, is the need to be right. Let us instead look passively and gently at what is incorrect, not what's wrong. Wrong has value, judgment attached to it. What is incorrect, what's error. As little children, we're always saying, oh, well, we're teaching the children, oh, it's good to make a mistake. It's okay if we're at all have any idea of how learning is achieved. Learning is achieved through trial and error, error and error and error and error and trial and error until it's gotten correct. And finally, the child can walk. That's how it works. The child falls how many times? Yet the drive is to walk. Why? Because we are programmed in our being to be horizontal. To be vertical, to be vertical. So this need to be right is pathological holding on to what it is that's blocking our peace, ease, healing, healed healer. It's blocking our divinity. It's blocking our perfection because we're using our divine energy, which is simply an energy of creativity. Once it's healed everything, then it's just doing creation and sharing the healing, which is again a creative exercise, a creative expression of life energy, of divine energy. Stop using our divine energy to hold falseness in place. Anytime you find that there's an emotional reaction, a strong, especially strong emotion attached to an argument, then what you're doing is you're observing is nature is showing you that lack of ease inside. Your nature is showing you that you are not following the path of truth. You are holding something together inside yourself that you're not secure about, because you won't fight about something you really know. You won't. Unless you're backed into a corner, of course, if someone's trying to kill you, you fight. But in our normal lives, when we fight with our spouses about silly things like the color of the drapes, about whether we had tofu or broccoli when we were at the beach 3 years ago, whatever it was. This is absolute insanity. And yet we fight these little battles with the energy of survival because we believe that we need to be right to hold our falseness in place. And that energy is absolutely keeping us in dis-ease, disharmony, imbalance, falseness, inauthenticity, suffering, and pain. Stay with us. We're going to go much deeper into the experience and the exploration of the divinity that we are, the healing, the healed condition, and the healers that we are. See you soon for more.